let's talk margins. Now, what are margins? CSS margins are used to create space around elements, like around your tags, outside of any defined borders. Remember the last time we created borders, right? Borders are attached to each element that we attach their styles to. So margin creates space outside of those ones, not inside, it's outside. I'll show you an example of it. But first, before we write any HTML code, let's look at the types of CSS margins we have. Then we lay them out, then we use them in our code. Right? Remember, main class, it can be anything. I'm just using main class just for video sake. Now we have different ways of writing margin, and also we have a shorthand version of writing it. As always, let's look at the long way of writing it. Now, margins can be written in 4 ways, right? They work almost the same way as your border, but in this case they give spaces, not design, not colors, not things like that, right? So this is how you write a margin. We have 4 types of margins, right? We have the margin top, right? We have the margin bottom, we have the margin right, and then we have the margin left. And any space, any value you put in any of these will actually be applied to your code. So let's give this let's give everything same size, actually 30px, 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 30px. Now we've written the CSS, let's apply it to our design here. So let's, as always, create a div. Remember, divs are basically useless on their own unless you add values into them, right? So paragraph, lorem, this is a lorem paragraph, yeah. Okay, so we have this here. Let's load that page and see what's up. Let me show you without margin and see how it works. Okay, I feel like so I can start the explanation from when before margin was added. So I'll just comment this out. There we go. Although having empty CSS selector is not a good idea, but without margin, see that the code kind of switches all the way up, right? Without adding margin to any way, there is the spaces here are predefined by HTML itself, by your browser, not you. But when you add your own custom margins, it shows the margin on all of this side. So it gives 30px space here, 30 here, 30 here, and 30 here. Let's add one more value there so I can show you what it does outside. Div p, this is bottom text. Yeah, okay, let's do this as to be distinguishable. So and then there's 30px here. Notice that the same space between here and here is the same. Same space between here and here is the same. Same goes for here as well. Right, now that's actually how you define your margin property values. Now that's for styling individually, but you notice most times codes would not be written this way. They will not define margin this way. They will use the margin shorthand. Now margin shorthand works almost the same way, but not the way we've written it this way. The syntax for margin shorthand is margin top, margin right, margin bottom. Remember, it goes clockwise, and margin left. With that in mind, let's just translate this into a shorthand version. 30px, 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 and 30px. So we can remove this comfortably, and our margin should still be the same because we apply the shortened version, and then we use the format of margin top, margin right, bottom, and left. Right. That's for writing it in full. But then you notice something, it's repetitive. We have 30px, 30px. What if we decide to remove 3 and leave 1? Will it still work? Yes, it will, because using one value means we are applying 30px to top, right, bottom, and left. Right. Same goes for if you just want to apply to 2 sides and you want them to be of the same, right? So if we do 10px here and 30px there, then we are applying 10px to top and bottom, and 30px to right and left. Let me show an example. See, the top and bottom has become smaller, but then the left and right are still of the same value. So that's how it works. But by now, sometimes you notice it's being written in 3. It might be written in 3 and not in 2 or 1 or 4. Now when it's written in 4, the way it's defined is, if it's written in 3 rather, the format for it is the top margin, the second will be the right and left, and then the third one will be the bottom margin. Right. Say for example, we want our bottom margin to be bigger than our top, right? We just do let's put 40px here. So what you should do is to apply 10px to top, 30px to left and right, and 40px to bottom. Let me reload that, and see now nothing changed except this bottom, right? So that's how it works for 3, right? But for clear's sake and to avoid confusion, let's just put on 30px for everything. Yeah. Then once you are done with this, let's reload and see, and we are back. Just as a bonus point, there's one way you can actually make your, for example now, right, we are relying on the width of the whole page for our margin. Let me just give you a snippet of something, right? Let's say for example we give our div a width of, say, 200px, right? 200px, we give it 200px. Let's read that's what's going to happen. Something has gone on. The width has changed, right? So it has become smaller. Let me show you how small it is by adding a background. Give it FFAA BP. Yeah, okay. Let me just give you this, and let's see how far we've taken. So we've only taken this size, right? See, it has become smaller, right? Now, although it's become smaller, our this thing is still being applied, margin still being applied everywhere, but we don't need to be on the left side. We rather prefer to be in the middle, in the center, right? That's where margin comes in with a nifty value called auto. Now what auto will do is it will horizontally center the elements within its container. Let me show you the example. What auto did was, okay, it's right now we say, okay, we want it to just be 200px, and when 200px was divided from the whole width of the page, we adjust that little one. Now, and our margin was on 30px all round, right? Meaning it was on this side 30px. When you say, okay, 30px space between the leftmost part, right, we could not account for the rightmost part, so it kind of looks jagged to the right. Now what margin auto does, what margin auto does is it picks the whole width of the page and tries to balance both sides, both left and right sides, to be equal, so that way our text, right, our content will be centered. That's just what the auto does. It tries to make the horizontal sides of equal value. Okay. Yeah, there's also one last thing that we might look at. Not really useful right now, but let's add a p tag here. Say for example our p tag, which is what we use to create this text, it's giving us a weird paragraph. Let me show you why it should give us a weird paragraph. Then declare a p here and put margin of 40 px. Bear with me, something's wrong, right? Our margin now, our p, right, is applying the margin to, is actually using the margin that we used up here, that we used here, 40 px on all sides. We don't do hop, right, but it's applied to both sides, right? But then we don't want our margin, right? We want our p margin inside this div class main to use the same margin as our main. We don't want to use the one that we define outside. What we do is use a value called inherit by defining margin left. Oh no, margin left, sorry. Margin equals inherit. Now what it will now do is inherit the margin of its parent. The main here is the parent of this p tag. So that's what to do. It has inherited it. So it has taken that auto and spread it across. You